Let's talk the color. One more thing, like, subscribe, and share. Come on, let's talk the color. Ooh.
Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Cutler here on the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast, the Let's Talk to Cutler YouTube platform, the Let's Talk to Cutler virtual book club. And it is another Tuesday. It's the time when we get a chance to spend 1,800 seconds together. My goal is always to offer something that's inspirational, something that's motivational, something that sometimes challenges us to do what? To show up our best selves, even in the worst of situations, because life happens, life will happen. And so my goal is to offer something that helps us to deal with the challenging moments of life, those moments when we least expect things and things still come up out of left field. And so my goal is to have these conversations so it's a little organic and natural for us to react in a way that we don't have to regret. Wow, that's what works for me. It's always my goal to react in such a way that I don't have to regret my actions. Do I always get it right? No, that's probably why I wrote that book titled We Don't Always Get It Right the First Time. But I do my best and I've gotten better and I'm trying, and it's through conversations like this. So again, my goal is to offer something that's inspirational, something that's motivational, something that challenges us again to show up our best selves, even in the worst of situations. And I know some of you personally, I know that you all strive to show up your best self as well. You know, it's one thing when you can always make sure that you check your integrity, that you check your character, and you say, that's how I want to show up. That's how I want to respond. That's how I want to be. And that's how I want to present myself. I think it's very important for us to be deliberate and intentional about how we show up and about how we represent our character. And so that's why I enjoy these conversations. We get to talk about things that help us improve who we are, and we are on this trajectory on our way to the space that is called better. And so I want to thank you all for sharing this time with me and sharing this space with me and inviting me to come wherever you've allowed me to come into, whether it's your home, your office, your back porch, your front porch, or on a walk with you. Thank you for allowing me to share this space with you. I want to talk about this evening about planting a happiness tree. I'll make it make sense in just a moment. I promise you, I'll make it make sense in just a moment. But for those of you who are catching this replay for the first time, or those of you who are joining me for the first time, I encourage you to go ahead and subscribe. And after you subscribe, click on the notification bell. I'm not sure where it is on your device, but it may be down there, up there, over there, but wherever it is, just click on it. And once you click on it, it lets you know whenever I've gone live or whenever I've uploaded new content. Like I am live and in living color here this evening. So I want to shout out those LTTC VIPs, the first three people that I see on my side. I see them more than three on, but I don't see you all in the chat. So come on over in the chat. And I know sometimes people like to just sort of show up in stealth mode. And if that's you, that's okay. No harm, no foul. I'm just glad that you're here. But the first three people that I see in the chat room this evening are Annie Cullen, Linda Martin, and Yvonne Jones. You all are the VIPs this evening. Happy 4th of February. A few days, not a few days, but it'll be the 14th of February. And I hope that you all are one. Listen, I know this is Valentine's Day month, but beyond that, it's Black History Month, and it is Healthy Heart Month. So make sure that you are taking care of yourself. And if you haven't had the routine visits with your doctor, make sure that everything is going on well with your heart. Make sure that you take this month to do that. It is important. So I'm celebrating two things this month. I'm celebrating Black History Month, and I'm celebrating Healthy Heart Month. So make sure that you take care of yourselves. But I want to talk this evening about planting a happiness tree. And let me just tell you the impetus behind this evening's conversation. I was having a conversation earlier, and I don't remember when I was reading, but and I write things down all the time. You also I keep notepads with me, and I wrote down love what you do or don't do it. In 2025, as you are preparing your plans for the year, do the things that you love. Be passionate about what you do, or just don't do it at all. Don't feel compelled, don't feel cajoled, don't feel manipulated into doing things that you don't necessarily want to do. But do the things that you love. Find the things that you love and do them. Love what you do what you love, or just don't do it. Whether it's work, whether it's civic, whether it's social, whether it's financial, whether it's educational, whether it's with your family, it doesn't matter. But whatever you do it with some degree of passion. Because when you have passion about it, passion will compel you, passion will push you, passion will cause you to want to get it right. Passion will cause you to want to do it excellently. Passion will cause you to want to get other people involved. Passion will cause you to want to see the best in what you do. So love what you do and do it. And do it. And be happy about the things that you do. I was having another conversation. I've had quite a few conversations, but with all of the frivolity and the madness and the vicissitudes that are taking place in our society today, based on the political landscape and the social landscape and all of those things that are taking place. I may come back and just have another conversation about all that, you all. But based on all that's taking place, it sometimes challenges your ability to find contentment. It challenges your ability to find peace, and it challenges your ability to find happiness. And so, as I was thinking about that, I said to somebody today, learn how to plant your own happiness tree. Learn how to plant your own happiness tree. My grandmother, God rest her soul, she had one of her favorite passages. I don't even, to be honest, I don't even know if my grandmother realized that she was quoting the Bible, because she would quote her father as saying this. And she said, she would always say, "You shall reap just what you sow." And I was thinking about that, and that thing got in the core of my spirit and my heart. And I started thinking, you know what, that is so true. Now, the other day, and I'll take you all on this journey with me a little later, but the other day I was in my backyard and I planted 5 fruit trees. And I thought, in not too many days hence, that sounds so churchy, didn't it? And not too many days hence, but maybe this season or next season, those trees will produce, they will produce countless fruit, so many that I probably will not even be able to contain or consume myself. And I find myself giving them away. But what I realize is that when you plant something, when you sow, you can expect to reap. And I thought, okay, here I am planting a semi-fruit orchard because I expect to reap fruit. And I thought about that analogously in my conversation today. Learn how to plant my own happiness tree, so that if I'm looking for happiness, let me plant something that's going to yield happiness. If you're looking for peace, plant something that's going to yield peace. If you're looking for joy and contentment, plant something that's going to yield joy and contentment. Might I also say, if you're looking for financial stability, learn how to plant something that is going to yield financial stability. You reap just what you sow. Or you recover, you harvest what you plant. And so for me, I was thinking today, you know what, with all that's going on in the world today, specifically here in our country and our nation, with all that is going on, learn how to step back and and let your ultimate goal be that of joy and peace and contentment and long suffering and love and all those sorts of things. But let be happy, let happiness be found among them. And if you're looking for happiness, learn how to plant your happiness tree. And let's talk about what that looks like, because what I realized just from planting a happiness tree, you all, it takes work. It takes work. You have to get out there. You have to dig the hole. And once you dig the hole, and then you get the plant, you put the plant in there, you've got to fertilize, and then you've got to cover it back up, and you put your fertilizer, you put your mulch, and then you got the water, and you have to take care of it. You have to make sure it gets sunlight. Whenever you are expecting to reap something, you work for what you're expecting to reap. I don't know about you all, but nothing that I have in life did not come without me having to plant something. And when I say having to plant it, I had to plant it and I had to work and I had to nurture it. I had to make sure that it would grow. I had to make sure that it got sunshine. I had to make sure that I was a good steward over the things that I expected to get. So some of the things that I have now are results of my having worked. They are results of my having sown. They're results of my having labored. And so if you're looking for happiness, then do the work to make sure that you're going to find happiness at the end, that you're going to find happiness as the outcome. Cutler, what does that look like? Can you help me with it? Of course I can. Because excuse me, I want us to be happy. I don't know why I have this inflammation in my throat, but it's not going to stop me from talking. But you have to make sure that you have a. Linda says, I need to plant a forest. I'm telling you, I'm going to take you all on maybe one day on a journey in my backyard. I planted a Honeycrisp apple tree. I planted a Yellow Delicious apple tree. I planted a Fuji apple tree. Or was it a Gala apple tree? I planted a Contender peach tree. I planted a cocktail tree, which is a fruit cocktail tree. It's what it's called. It has multiple fruit on it, maybe 2 species of peaches and 2 species of plums. I have to let you all see it, and hopefully it comes out. They come out really, really, really nice. But I want to go back to make sure that you plant your happiness tree. You know, there was this one song, Bob Marley, some time ago, Don't Worry, Be Happy. Really, there's something to be said about having a positive outlook on life. And you can command your own happiness. You can command your own happiness. One of the things that I was reading about commanding your own happiness is that literally you have to learn how to turn frowns upside down. Why is that important? Because frowning sometimes creates negative energy and it drives people away, as opposed to smiling creates positive energy and it draws people to you. If you're going to plant your happiness tree, do the work. Part of doing the work is making sure that you turn frowns upside down into smile. It means that you have to work at exuding positive energy and pulling people so that people will gravitate to you, because people gravitate to folk who have sunny dispositions. People gravitate to folk who have positive and optimistic outlooks on life. People gravitate to what I call happy hormones, because it's stimulating and people like being happy. So as you're going through 2025, be intentional and deliberate about turning frowns upside down. What do you mean, Cutler, when you say that? Be deliberate and intentional about exuding positive energy. You are in control of the kind of energy that you exude. So there's no excuse saying, you know what, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. You only got 2 sides of the bed to wake up on. And if the bed is to the wall, you only got 1 side to wake up on. So stop saying that other things cause you to be the way that you are. You are in charge of your own energy and your own disposition. So you have the wherewithal to turn your frown upside down. People gravitate to positivity. So why not create something that people can gravitate to? That is one of the signs of a happy person. That is one of the ways that you can have a healthier outlook on life. That's one way that you can have a healthier life. That's one way you can have a better life. We often talk about we're on our way to the space and this place is called better. But listen, better is what happens when you determine in your mind that I'm not going to walk away. I'm not going to walk around looking like a bump on the log. I'm not going to walk around looking grumpy and grouchy about everything. But what I'm going to do is practice a sunny disposition. Some things you just have to practice. Again, didn't I say we need to be challenged? Because it's not always about inspiration. It's not always about motivation, but sometimes it's about challenging ourselves to show up our best selves, even in the worst of situations. And sometimes challenging yourself says, I've got to make sure that I show up as a positive person. And here's something else, not just turning a frown upside down, but you need to make sure that you practice inspiration and not jealousy. What do you mean, Cutler? Instead of looking at other people who have other things, people who may have nice cars and nice homes and nice jobs and nice clothes and all that kind of stuff, instead of looking at people through a lens of envy, people who are happy choose to look at people as a source of inspiration. One of the things that I always enjoyed and that I continue to enjoy about relationships with people who are close to me, who are in my family, I love to see them do well. I love to see them do well. And when I see my friends and family members doing well, I don't look at them through a lens of envy, but I look at them as a source of inspiration. And when you learn to look at people from a different lens and from a different perspective, then what you end up doing is channeling happiness. You start channeling positivity and you start channeling your own outcome so that the negatives become positives. And what could have been pointless and needless and ridiculous jealousy, it becomes a source of inspiration. Cutler, what are you saying? I'm saying that we are in charge of all of that. You are in charge of the lens that you create to look at life. And so either you're going to choose this lens or you're going to choose this lens. How about we choose the lens of inspiration rather than the lens of jealousy? Something else that happy people do, if you want to practice, we're talking about planting happiness tree. What does planting a happiness tree? What else does it look like, Cutler? It looks like you learn how not to play the blame game. I'm talking about doing the work. If you want to be happy, if you want to be optimistic, if you want to be positive, if you want to just be this person who commands a sunny disposition, one of the things that you turn the frown upside down. You make sure that you look at people through the lens of inspiration and not the lens of jealousy. And then you make sure that you don't play the blame game. We all, particularly in this day and age, we all know somebody who plays the blame game. They blame everyone else for their problems. They blame everyone else for their circumstances. They blame everyone else for their conditions. They blame everyone else for the scenarios that they have to deal with. They blame everyone else for their despondency. They blame everybody else for their discouragement. They blame everyone else for everything. And sometimes if the truth be told, y'all tell me if I'm going out here on a limb by myself, but if the truth be told, when we know those people who blame everybody else for everything, they're really not good people to be around. Come on, tell the truth. You don't enjoy being around people who complain about everything and blame everybody else for everything. And there's some things that happen in life, and you say, well, you know what? It's just a fact. It's just a fact of life. It's a function of life. It's just going to happen. The economy, what's going on in the economy, what's going on in the workforce, what's going on with the government, all of that kind of stuff. You can allow that stuff to bring you down. But can I say this to you? You can allow that stuff to bring you down. But let me say this again. You can allow that stuff to bring you down, but you have the wherewithal. You have the wherewithal to process that stuff in such a way that you don't end up blaming, you don't find yourself constantly blaming somebody for stuff. Just step back and say, you know what, I need to wash my hands of some of this stuff. I need to take control of my current situation. I need to make sure that I let this stuff roll off my back like water on a duck's back. You need to make sure that instead of finding yourself blaming everybody for everything, just take control of your own life. Take control of your own happiness. Decide what you're going to listen to. Decide what you're not going to listen to. Listen, I know the economy, the social climate, all that kind of stuff. I know what's going on. Listen, I haven't lived this long without being able to understand what's happening. But here is what I choose to do. Here's what I choose to do, particularly this month. If I'm going to focus on a healthy heart, I'm not going to blame everybody for everything, and I'm not going to find myself needing to blame. But what I'm going to do when life throws me lemons is to learn how to make lemonade or lemon meringue pie. Learn how to do something. But just don't play the blame game, because otherwise you'll find yourself not only blaming everybody for everything, but you'll find yourself saying, woe is me. Woe is me, my job. Woe is me, the economy. Woe is me, the government. Woe is me, my family. Woe is me, my friends. Woe is me, my society. Woe is me, my community. Instead of doing that, take control of your situation. Take control of your situation. And here is something else. I told you I'm going to only be here for 1,800 seconds, and it seems like my time is just running by. But can I say this to us? I said to somebody earlier today, in terms of planting your happiness tree, get out and enjoy the sunlight. Engage in some sort of physical activity, because it refreshes your oxygen. It encourages blood flow. It promotes thoughts and ideas and concepts and all of that kind of stuff. You a wonderful dose of vitamin D from the sun, and that really helps you to soak in, not just soak in the sun, but it helps you to soak in happiness. You don't need to sit in your house 2, 3, and 4 consecutive days. Get out, exercise if you can. I understand that there are some people who are confined and just can't get out. But for those of us who can, count it a blessing and take advantage of the opportunity just to get out and walk and stand in the sunlight. And guess what? The sunlight shines even when it's cold. Just get out and soak up the vitamin D that the sunlight offers. So what am I saying in terms of happiness? Make sure that you engage in some sort of physical exercise and get outside. That's why I remember when I was growing up and my family and the older relatives would say, y'all go outside and play. It was refreshing our oxygen. Y'all go outside and play. We were getting vitamin D. Y'all go outside and play. It was encouraging our blood flow. You all go outside and play. It was making us healthier people. And again, the sun shines even when it's cold outside. McDiamond says tomorrow will be 58 degrees. I love going to the beach in the winter. It's beautiful. And I know for some people it seems oxymoronic, the beach in the winter. It is gorgeous. I grew up on the water. And my brothers and I sometimes would just go along and walk along the shores of the water in the wintertime, ride our bikes along the shore of the water in the wintertime, walk out on the piers, up and down on the piers in the wintertime. So take advantage of the sunlight. It'll make you a happier person. And then here's one that we really need to practice this, you all. Some of us really need to practice this in terms of being happy. If you're going to commandeer your own happiness, if you're going to plant your own happiness tree and expect to reap and yield a harvest of happiness, one of the things that we really need to do, and I continue to work on this. I think this is a gift of mine. If there's one thing that my family sometimes looks at me and says that I've been able to lay hold to and lay claim to, it is the gift of forgiveness. Because sometimes forgiveness can be hard to swallow. It can be a bitter pill to swallow, particularly when pride and ego get in the way. But for me, forgiveness empowers me to be able to move on, to move beyond, to banish the negativity so that I can make way for new and positive chapters in my life. Because if you don't do that, you end up staying in what I call negative limbo. And you're never happy about anything. You're never at peace about anything. You're never content about anything. You end up in this stage of negative limbo, and you want to be happy, but on the other hand, you want to be upset. You want to have joy, but on the other hand, you want to have this negative emotion. Learn how to forgive. Because forgiveness, as I've said in the past, forgiveness is not so much about the other person as it is about you. It frees you to move on. It frees you to close one chapter. No, not close one chapter. It frees you to close one book so that you can go on and write another one. It frees you to end the lyrics to that song so that you can write another song. That's what I discovered for me. I am the happy, content, joyous, peaceful person that I am today because I learned how to embrace and execute the art of forgiveness. I have friends and family who look at me sometimes and say, "Oh, so how were you able to do that? How were you able to forgive that person? How were you able to forgive that person?" And I said, "It's because I wanted to move on, because I wanted to become better, because I wanted to give life and give root to the positive things that I knew were growing inside." And if you want to be happy, just learn how to forgive. And let me just say this. Some people say forgive and forget. But the way I operate, because not only am I blessed with the gift of forgiveness, but I'm also blessed with an amazing memory. So it's difficult for me to forgive and forget. What works for me is the ability to remember, but still forgive. That's a gift. The ability to remember, and still forgive. That's a gift. And if you want to be happy, if you want to be a happier, more whole person, learn to forgive. And again, I don't necessarily ascribe to forgive and forget, but the beauty and the joy and the power of who you are and how you show up and how your character is how it is and how your integrity is how it is. The beauty and the strength of all that is when you can remember but still forgive. I love that quote, McDina. Forgiveness is the fragrance a flower gives when someone steps on the flower. Oh, you tried to injure me, I forgive you. You tried to hurt me, I'm still giving off positivity. You tried to cut me down, but I'm still exuding optimism. That's what happens. That's exactly what forgiveness looks like. And then and let me just share this. If you're going to be a happier, healthier person and you're going to practice happiness and you're planting this tree, your happy tree, one of the things that you want to do is always find yourself, in the place of gratitude. Always give thanks. For the good that comes into your life, give thanks. Learn how to take inventory of the positive things as well as the negative things, as well as the challenges, so that way you can learn the lessons that they came to teach you. Some of us don't know how to give thanks, or some of us have not found a space to give thanks because we have not learned the lessons that the challenging things brought along with them. So we're struggling with the repercussions of the negative thing, so much so that we cannot deal with the lessons that they came to teach us. When you learn the lessons, you'll learn how to say thank you. When you learn the lessons that the negativity brought you, when you learn the lessons that the challenges brought you, when you learn the lessons that these things brought, you'll learn how to say thanks. That is why one of my favorite passages is in everything, not for everything, but in everything, give thanks. Because in this, I've learned this lesson. In this, I've learned to be strong. In this, I've learned to have fortitude. In this, I've learned to have stamina. In this, I've learned to maintain integrity. In this, my character is built. In this, I stand strong. So it's in these things, not for these things, but in these negative things, I've learned to give thanks because I've learned the lesson. And when you learn the lesson, you build this foundation of optimism that you stand on no matter what happens. That's why we talk about learning to show up our best selves, even in the worst of situations. When you build that optimistic platform, you can stand so that when the wind blows, you'll bend, but you won't break. I'm telling you, as you're planting your happiness tree, give thanks. As you're planting your happiness tree, give thanks. And I love what Linda Martin has written in the comments. One of the ways that she practices gratitude and she practices thankfulness, she says, I write at least 3 things that I'm thankful for in my daily journal. And I think that's a wonderful lesson. Thank you, Linda. I think that's a wonderful thing that we all can do. Be intentional and be deliberate about looking at the things for which you are thankful and write them down. Because guess what? Tomorrow I might be having a bad day, but when I look at what I wrote down yesterday, it sets my soul ablaze. It sets me on fire. And so it changes my perspective for what it would have been today because I wrote down yesterday that I was thankful for X, Y, and Z. And while today I don't necessarily see X, Y, and Z, yesterday I gave thanks. So that means there's something that I can give thanks for today. Give thanks. Give thanks. I've got to get out of here, but I want us to learn to practice, learn how to plant a happiness tree. And that means we concentrate, we focus on seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. We concentrate on seeing the silver lining. We concentrate on seeing the light that glimmers even in the darkness. We're not focusing on the negativity because guess what? One speck of light can pierce the darkness. I will never forget my family and I. We went to Canada. We went to this one restaurant that was sponsored by the Society for the Blind. And when you walked in with eyes wide open, it was completely dark and it was completely dark. But guess what? One speck of light would have pierced all of that darkness. What are you saying, Cutler, as you get up out of here? One of the things that I'm saying is in the midst of darkness, find you a silver lining, find you just one speck of light, one glimmer of light that just gives you hope. And in the midst of what would have otherwise looked like full gloom and doom, it will translate into a bursting beam of light. And that is what you focus on. I may have to come back and talk about this again, y'all, because I really, as we're going through these times, these unprecedented times, Thomas Paine said these are the times that try men's soul. They don't just try men's soul, but they try men, women, boys, girls, dolls, cats, anybody's souls. These are the times that try men's soul. So these are the times that we need to plant a happiness tree so that, as the songwriter says, we really can, don't worry, but be happy. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I want to thank you all for joining. Let's keep doing what we do, y'all. Let's keep building community. Let's keep maintaining connectivity. Do me a favor. Keep your heads up. Keep your hopes up. Stay safe. Stay sane. Don't let anybody run you crazy. And know that from my heart to yours, there is and always will be so much love. Until the next time we talk, why don't you all do me a favor? Go on and tell somebody, come on and let's talk to Cutler. The man is trying to tell us how to be happy. Good night.